Welcome, everybody. Don't you hate it when you hit the wrong button? Welcome to live TV, everyone. Welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what it is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that they have a voice, they have a community, and they are not alone. And to that end, I have an amazing guest today. Shari Bookstaff was a tenured marine biology professor. It's really cool. When sporadic dizzy spells and nausea led to being diagnosed with a benign brain tumor, she was told it would be an easy routine surgery, which I know just as well as you do that that's almost never the case. But a 9-day hospital stay turned into 9 months of absolutely brutal rehabilitation. I'm sure we'll hear all about it, the time frame and everything from Shari. Well, I'll let her tell that story. She's much better at it than I am. Following inconsistent medical staff encounters during recovery, she founded Impact of Empathy, which is a nonprofit lifetime of which is a nonprofit basically that she formed, and I'm super excited to hear about that because we just formed our nonprofit too. So I'm very excited to see how she started and how we can do better too. So Shari is living proof, man, that like determination, hard work, positivity, that's what matters, and that is what it takes for overcoming tragedy. So Shari chronicles her whole journey, all of this in her book, When Life Throws You Lemons, Make Cranberry Juice. Let's welcome Shari to the show. Right there. Shari, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff.
Cranberry juice, huh?
Cranberry juice, yes. Let me just start off with that. When I was a naturalist on an Alaskan cruise the year before of my brain surgery, and there were 2 free drinks, lemonade and cranberry juice. And I found that when you mixed them, they were great tasting.
There you go.
When I went to write my whole book, and I hated the phrase, when life throws lemons, make lemonade. So I changed it to When Life Throws Lemons, Make Cranberry Juice. And there is deeper meaning in that, which I can get to a little bit later. But yeah.
We'll totally get into that. Yeah, because of course there's deeper meaning. There's always deeper meaning when it
there's
comes.
Always deeper meaning. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have written a book titled that if there were some deeper meaning. So we'll get into that.
I would hope not. Yeah.
Right. So can you just share with us that, like, initially, like, that you obviously faced a lot of challenges when you were diagnosed with the brain tumor. It was benign, thank God, but it was still a brain tumor, and it still rocks your world. Especially, you were thriving as a marine biology professor, and
I had 2 little kids. My kids were 12 and 8, and I had just finalized my divorce. So I was living alone with 2 kids and 2 dogs, and kind of going about my life. Everything was fine, and then bam, I just started getting dizzy and nauseous out of nowhere.
Mm.
And it did take months for doctors to diagnose me, for them to like take me seriously enough to do it, to go on with diagnosis.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it can be rough, man. I mean, I had an experience like that in high school so I had the added thing of you're just a 16-year-old kid. What do you know? And so, yeah, they don't like to take you seriously sometimes.
They don't, especially when they're looking for a zebra. They want to look for horses.
Well, yeah,
look for horses.
They're looking for the typical thing when it's
right. They're looking for the
typical
thing. And I'm like, but I'm not. I've never been a typical person. So, I'm a marine biologist from Wisconsin. I'm not a typical anything. So,
marine biologist from Wisconsin. So where did you
right.
go to do the marine biology stuff? Because it's funny that's where you were.
Right, where I was raised. Yeah. Yes. I've wanted to be a marine biologist since I was 7 years old. This is just what I've always wanted to be. So I always went to aquariums. We went to the Chicago Aquarium when I was growing up. I went to watch a lot of Jacques Cousteau when I was growing up. Learned how to scuba dive.
Nice.
When we went on family vacations, I would go scuba diving by myself. So my parents would say goodbye to their 16-year-old daughter while I was going off by myself to go scuba diving.
Oh, man.
So I just got very into it, and then I loved whales and dolphins. So I went to undergrad in Wisconsin, and then for graduate school I came out to California to study whales and dolphins.
There you go. A few more whales and dolphins in California than Wisconsin.
Yeah. Right. There weren't any in Lake Michigan. I looked.
It's funny because my dad actually, when right after my parents got married, and then he went in the Army for a few years, and then they got out of that, and then they moved to Colorado because Colorado State University had an amazing marine biology, of all places. Okay. Colorado, landlocked Colorado. Yeah. And CSU, Colorado State University, had a great marine biology program until about 6 months before they moved here. But they didn't when they got here, and so that's what he wanted to pursue. And then the department just evaporated, Yeah, so he had to take a totally different turn. But yeah. I think it worked out for the best. He was enormously successful in the business world, but I think initially he was just gung ho for marine biology. So when I heard that about you, it was so funny. I was like, wow, small world, But yeah, crazy. Well, so just for the audience out there watching, for anybody watching live or anybody watching on demand, if you're watching this after it's aired live and you're finding it on demand. We'll be talking with, we're going to be talking about Shari's experiences with medical staff and probably my experiences with medical staff. I'm sure we have plenty to talk about.
I'm sure we do have lots.
Anyone that's had a crazy experience with medical staff, inconsistencies and stuff that kind of drove you nuts and you left the hospital and what the heck just happened there? This is the show for you. We're going to talk about all that stuff. And she has an amazing thing you've come out of this and created something beautiful out of it. So I'm very, very excited to hear more about it and for you to hear more about it. So, how did you cope with it's so much unexpected stuff that came with what was supposed to be a very routine surgery, and then you were laid up for 9 months. How did you deal with that? That's a long time.
I don't know. My sister lived in San Diego. I'm near San Francisco, so she flew up. And my family is all over the country, so my sister flew up a lot because she's the closest geographically. And my friends pretty much took over my life. My friends took care of my dogs. My dogs were alone in the house. My kids had to go stay with other people and then stay with their dad. And, my friends really took over my life. At one point I heard that there was a flood in my backyard because some kind of pipe broke.
Oh, no.
I have no idea where that is because they took care of that. So anything that came up while I was laid up, they took care of. They just did it.
That's beautiful.
So that was the amazing part.
So as much as you had to go through in the hospital and being laid up for 9 months and being, going through that whole nightmare of a time period.
My house was still here. Right.
Yeah. At least you had consistent help at home that was keeping you, put together. That's phenomenal. That is so cool.
Another amazing thing is that my job was still there.
Ooh, wow.
Because I'm a tenured faculty member. So my
Yep.
job, was still there when I came back. And I was off for like probably a year and a half.
Wow.
And then I came back on a very limited basis to learn how to navigate the campus with a disability. So, but then came back to teaching and teach online and just modified the way that I lived and the way that I taught. But, my job welcomed me back, which was nice too.
Wow. That is really cool. And I have a similar experience with that because I worked for the same company for about 12 years, and I had 6 surgeries within that 12 years.
Wow.
4 of them were brain surgeries, and he kept bringing me back. Have brain surgery. Nice. I'd be laid out for a few months or a few weeks or whatever, and he would just keep putting me to work, and I'm so thankful for that.
Right,
so
that's amazing.
It's really nice to have a person to work for that is compassionate, that that is understanding in that way. So well done. Right. So you alluded to some of your experiences with medical staff being inconsistent.
Oh yes.
But I have a feeling that was very gently put. How do you like
right. And just to preface that, it's not just people like you and I who go through really traumatic medical things, but anybody. I mean, if you ever had blood taken and they're not nice to you and they're making you more nervous if you don't like needles. So it's any medical interaction. And my message goes out to any medical professional doing anything, even non-medical professionals working in a hospital. You have an impact on the patient experience. And some of the experiences that I had, they were just mean. Some of the medical providers were just not nice. And just, I was an annoyance to them. I was a problem to them. I've gone for blood work where the guy just said, he yelled at me for not drinking. And it was a fasting blood test, so I didn't think I could drink. And he just, he was rude. And I said, maybe somebody else should do this. And that kind of woke him up. I think, I am just looking at her as an arm with a vein instead of a person with an arm.
Yeah.
So,
well, and what a lot of people, what I've come to realize over the last 10 years and 6 surgeries and all the crazy that came with it, is that we as a society in the United States, I don't know about other countries, but in the United States with our medical system, this is the only place that people feel like they can't question things. They can't go get a second opinion. They can't shop for a better deal. They can't shop for a better deal. They can't, you are the customer. Yes, you're the patient, but you are the customer. They are working for you. So you're paying them and they're working for you. Right. So we get that confused sometimes, and people put medical staff on a pedestal like they can't say anything bad to them or they do no wrong. And that's just not the case. I love medical staff, but
that's part of why you need an advocate to go with you.
Yes.
You need a friend to go with you. Because you're someone's about to jab you with a needle, you're not going to insult them right before they jab you with a needle, but somebody else could be your voice.
Yeah. Well, if you can't be that voice yourself, then yes, bring an advocate. I mean, it was something as simple as, so I had a surgery. I've, 4 brain surgeries since 2014, right? So we've been in and out of the hospital. I've been stuck by so many needles, I've lost count, right? Yeah. So I found in 2020, was it 21 or 18, one of those 2 surgeries, that there was a really cool spot that I had a really good vein for an IV. And and this doctor, you go in the ER and they always put it right there, right in the fold of your elbow because it's easy, right? And it's quick, Right. But when I got up to the room and I was going to be in the hospital for a week, I said, look, can we put this somewhere else? This is going to be terrible. Could you put it somewhere else? It's a little more accessible so I can move my arm, please, please, please. And this guy was amazing. I didn't feel the needle. He put it right here, right there in my arm. It was perfect. It was like my favorite spot right there. So every time I went in the hospital,
there you go.
Here's where I want it, right here, And so, but that again is advocating for yourself, right? You
Right.
It's okay to ask for things like that.
And a lot of people can't. Either they're too scared to talk to the doctor, or they physically can't.
That's true.
That's why I want to go out and talk to medical professionals, so they get the message before they go see the patients.
That's true. Yeah. And when you say they can't, do you mean like physically they can't, or they're just
sometimes
mentally, or they
either all of the above?
Okay.
You know, I mean, most people will not speak to a doctor in an authoritative way.
Interesting. Yeah.
And most doctors are going to treat you like you don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
and maybe not most, but some.
Some do. Yeah, some do.
So, you have to have that voice.
You do. And if you don't have it, bring somebody with you. Like you said, that's usually important. I mean, that's the other thing with people that are in and out of the hospital or have things going on that necessitate medical care frequently. People want to help. People want to help. They see you that you're going through this. All you have to they're just dying for you to ask. Right? Most of the people that I know are just waiting on the edge of their seat for me to ask them for help, so they can feel like they're contributing to the story.
And asking for help is one of the hardest things for people to do.
It should,
and that's why I say ask. But also I say to the people who want to help, offer something specific.
Yes.
Offer a ride somewhere, or grocery shopping, or even just company. Offer something specific. Don't just say, call me if you need anything.
Yeah, because you're not going to.
If you say, call me if you need anything, I'm not going to call them.
No, because they don't know what you need. And so.
And you don't.
Lost. Yeah. So, you have to be specific, and I mean, I've gotten to the point now, if I see somebody going into the hospital, just say, call me with whatever you need. But if I don't hear from you, I'm going to talk to your wife. Or I'm going to talk to your kids.
Exactly.
Or I'm going to, we're going to find what you need and bring it to you. You don't tell me. So you may as well just tell me,
Right.
So, sometimes it takes that encouragement. But so how old were you, just out of curiosity, when you were going through this whole 9-month craziness? How old, you mentioned your children.
My kids were 12 and 8.
12 and 8 at that time.
So 4th grade and 7th grade.
When you were going through all this.
Right. So if you think about it, I missed their entire 4th grade and their entire 7th grade. I don't know what happened during that year.
Oh man, that's crazy. How did they handle it? Like, how did that impact?
They came out of it okay, and they got more independent. Because it's the second that I came home, they came back to live with me, even though I couldn't do everything. They had to do the laundry, they had to do the cooking, they had to do taking care of them, they had to do everything. For me too.
Wow. That is unbelievable. Well, kudos to you, by the way. Well done on raising kids that are resilient. I mean, that's incredible. There's some kids that probably wouldn't have been able to handle that.
A lot of kids. I mean, I always been told a lot of people just step up when they have to. And yes, you're right. They might not have, but I'm glad they did.
Yeah. No, me too. I mean, I can relate. Our kids, even my youngest now, my youngest is now a freshman in high school, but she's still, she's still, if she sees I'm having a rough day or I end up, on the floor because of some symptom of something or whatever, she is always so sweet and notices what's going on and is always there to help. And, here's a pillow, Dad, or, whatever. And
that's great. And that's because she was raised like that.
Right.
She was,
well, and she's got the experience too. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it's really cool. So, well, hey, I'm loving this, but we're already at our first commercial break. Time flies, right? When we're having
fun.
Yes, sure. So we're gonna go break for just a minute and do a short break, and then we will be back here in just a minute. So I'm just trying to find the okay, great. We will see you guys in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. We're going to be talking more about Shari's story, but more importantly, her initiatives to kind of address some of these issues with the medical staff. So we're gonna dive into that in the second segment. So everybody, stick around. Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
Okay.
The Club eFit Home Portable Gym System is a groundbreaking new system that can help everyone at any fitness level. You can be the happy, fit person you always wanted to be, and Club eFit can make that happen by helping you get the body you deserve in the time you can spare. With workouts ranging from cardio, core, to total body toning, it's easy to get started. Start taking care of you today. To make the change, go to clubefit.com now.
Hi there, I'm Dawn Livingston, your host on the Transcend and Succeed show. Join me Fridays at 2 p.m. Central for limitless inspiration and ways to help you transcend your limitations. Tune into the Achieve TV network and the Voyage to Vitality channel. Transcend and Succeed show, right here on A360 TV.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Shari. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And man, I'm just so excited to hear about the projects that you are working on to make a positive difference with medical staff. But first, let's dive in a little bit about your recovery, because your recovery, your rehab journey, what victories stand out to you that maybe played a role in that recovery?
One thing that I always think about, because I've been standing this whole interview during this whole time, and at one point I could only stand for 9 seconds, and that was a big deal. That was a big deal to be able to stand for 9 seconds. So that definitely is a milestone. Yeah, I do remember a lot because I wrote a book about it. But everything was just so difficult. Like just, raising your arms were difficult. Standing was not a thing I could do, but lifting myself up at all was really difficult. So, everything is just so hard. And such you look at little mini steps, little baby steps. You learn how to lift up your head, then you learn how to sit on the edge of the bed, then you learn then you try to stand, then you try to walk. I mean, it takes a long time, but it's doable. And I've been standing for, this whole time.
Wow. It's been over 20 minutes. You're doing that's awesome.
Well, I do a CrossFit Zoom class every morning.
Whoa.
When I'm standing. So I definitely do, walk on my own and stand a lot. And yes, I walk awkwardly and I don't have normal gait, but I can function.
Well, hey,
and that's where the rehab came in.
That's the important thing. Yeah. Tell us about what was that rehab like?
Well, during the 9 months that I was in a hospital in ICU until I could breathe, because I couldn't breathe. That was why I was staying in ICU. Wow. They put a trach tube in me, so I have a little scar right here. And the tracheotomy, you had to learn how to breathe through that. And nurses were kind of mean about that too, because I couldn't breathe. But they never tried to calm me down and teach me how to breathe. So it got all filled with like water, and I sounded like Darth Vader when I breathed. That's something you want to sound like. No. So once that was over, then I went to another rehab hospital, and then another rehab. So I was transferred to 2 other rehab hospitals, and one really specialized in brain injuries. And at that place, I did therapy for hours every day, and they really worked on, getting me up and walking with a walker. When I first came home from the hospital, I was walking only with a walker. I wasn't walking on my own at all.
Wow.
So I have stairs in my house. So I had 2 walkers, one downstairs, one upstairs, and railings on the stairs. So I would get up the stairs and then go right to the other walker.
Wow.
And I could only walk with a walker. So, that went on for probably another year. And then I went to a cane, and then eventually I started walking on my own. What was interesting, though, is that doctors had said that after a year with a brain injury, you don't see much improvement. And we're talking, a year, after a year I was only walking with a walker and standing for 9 seconds. So, yes. And I think that if they tell a patient that, the patient's going to stop trying after a year. Yeah. So their prophecy will become true, and you got to keep on trying. And it's tough, and you got to keep on trying, and really good therapists are the way to do that, to get you motivated to keep on trying.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because you mentioned doctors telling you certain things, and doctors, and God bless them, neither one of us would be here if it weren't for good doctors and surgeons. So please don't. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus here, but
of course.
But I am going to say this: they're only. They go through medical school. They go through whatever specialty they go through. They're in school for years. So I don't discount their skill and all that. But really, when they get out of medical school, that's when their education happens. It's like they're only practicing medicine for a while. That's why they call it a practice, right?
They're still practicing
because they don't have it all figured out. They really get their real knowledge when they start practicing medicine for real in the world outside of med school.
It's the actual patients. Yes.
Right, with the actual patients. And so a lot of things they say, like what they told you, is probably something they learned statistically is true from some professor in med school. But in the real world, it's not always that way. Sometimes there's amazing.
And the reason that it's statistically true might be because when you tell people they're not going to get better after a year, why should I even try after a year?
Right.
And you're telling them that. But my argument to that is that if somebody in their 50s can learn to play golf, then somebody with a brain injury can learn to do whatever, to walk again.
Exactly.
You can always learn new things.
100%. I mean, this whole old dog, new tricks nonsense is just, it's like an old dog can't do, no. No.
And that makes for a cute little saying, but it's just not true.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's cute, but it shouldn't be true. I hope it's not true. I mean, I hope people don't subscribe to that because it's really not true.
It's not true.
Yeah, people can learn whatever they want.
It's physiologically not true.
Yeah.
Your brain keeps on forming new pathways. And yes, nerves don't regrow, but neural pathways change.
Yes.
It's like if there's a closed road, you might take a different road. You'll still get to your destination.
Yeah,
it might take you longer to get there.
You don't just stop at the road closed sign. I guess I'm here until the road opens. No.
Right. You find another way to get around.
Find another route.
That's what your brain does.
Yep.
And that's, I learned about that. And, I'm a biologist, so I wanted to learn about that, but I'm a marine biologist, so I didn't know much about the brain. But, when you learn about that, it really makes you think that maybe you can keep on going. And your brain can keep on forming new pathways. And actually, as part of my recovery, I went to an adaptive physical education program at the school that I work at. So it was run by this professor who I had known forever. And he really, I think he took every student who came in under his wing, but he really took me under his wing because he knew me for a long time. Yeah. And it was his mission to get me, walking again. So that's like having, physical therapy, only physical therapy in the form of a coach. Yeah. And a coach is a little more tough on you than a physical therapist. So he knew exactly how tough he could be on me without pushing me over. Like I never cried when he was telling me what to do. And he would tell me what to do, and I trusted him. So he would tell me what to do, and I'd be like, "There's no way I could do that," but I would try it anyway. And after a couple tries, I could do it. I'm like, "Wow, look what he made me do." So
look what he made you do. Look what you did
Look what
for
he,
yourself that he
right,
inspired
right.
you to do. Yeah.
But he inspired me to do, right. But he
But
inspired me to do it. So yes.
that's the importance of a good coach is huge. I mean,
Oh
whether it's in
yes.
whether it's in rehab or whether it's in business or whether it's in sports or whether
Sports.
it's in
Yes.
whatever the industry it is. I mean, that's why
I'm all
coaching
for
is
it.
so
Right.
popular nowadays. Is everybody wants a coach because it's helpful. We've got a couple
Right.
ourselves for our businesses, and it's
Right.
so nice, to have that
Right.
third person voice coming in from the outside that's not,
Right.
in the trenches,
You need a good coach.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So
And you need a good empathetic coach.
yes,
I
yes,
strongly believe in coaching with empathy,
yeah,
whether it's in professional sports or a physical therapist coaching their patient. You need to coach
yeah,
with empathy, lead with empathy.
yeah, totally. Well, speaking of empathy, let's talk about your organization impact of empathy, right? That's
Right.
your
Well, I've actually got two separate companies that I'll talk about. When I
okay.
first came out of this, I knew that I had a voice because I
Yeah,
had, a long teaching career. I knew that I was not afraid to talk to people in
yeah,
public. So I started a nonprofit called Lifetime of Impact, where I go and talk to students of healthcare. So respiratory therapy students, respiratory therapists were my favorite. Don't tell anybody, but they were my favorite.
I didn't hear it.
I talked to other allied health students, nursing students, and share my story and gave them practical ways they can connect to their patients. And I got great feedback from them. They really,
Nice.
they told me they used some of the tips that I gave them with their very next patient.
Wow.
And then, so a couple of years ago, I expanded that to start the business Impact of Empathy, where I really try to push empathy to healthcare providers, professionals, and also any leaders. So what my dream is for Impact of Empathy is to be part of onboarding for hospital staff. Because
Yeah.
everybody who works in the hospital, whether it's the guy who takes money for parking or
Yeah.
the receptionist,
Yep.
anybody is going to have an impact on patient experience.
100%.
And
Yeah.
it's going to affect how you are to the doctor. So really to all the doctors out there, make your job easier if your patients get to you and they're, for the lack of better words, in a good mood.
Right.
When your patient's in a bad mood, and I've been in a bad mood because of the receptionist, they're not as willing to cooperate with you. And
Right.
that's important. You want your patients to cooperate with you. So it absolutely makes your job easier if your patients get to you in a good frame of mind.
Man.
So that's where Impact of Empathy comes in.
So few people think of it like that, though. I think I think you are very unique in your mindset because it's almost like that waiting room is one world, and then
right.
And then once you get into the doctor's office, that's a totally different world. But
right.
If that receptionist was rude to you, or if they misunderstood you, or did something that upset you, or whatever, even the even the parking guy, you're right. Anybody could set you off on the wrong foot, and then the doctor suffers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've definitely prejudged a doctor based on, their receptionist.
Yep.
And it's like,
which is ridiculous. Honestly,
you want your patients to cooperate with you.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. Empathy makes your job easier, and empathy saves you time. And that's one biggest myth about empathy. It doesn't cost you time; it saves you time.
Well, it doesn't make you weak. I mean, empathy is not weakness.
Oh God, no.
Empathy is not weakness. It's strength, honestly, because it's the opposite, But
right. And it does not have to be this, flowers and unicorns, love and hurts all the time either. It could be a sarcastic joke, a good joke to your patients. You can loosen them up. They're wearing a shirt with a sports team on it, and you comment on it. That anything to get them out of the frame of mind of being a patient.
Yeah.
Well, and being a person.
And it shouldn't be condescending either, right? Like empathy isn't feeling sorry for the person. You're not trying to, it's meeting them on their level and and
Right.
making them at ease, honestly, right? I mean, it's just making them feel like they're more
right, making them feel like they're more a person.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I had one nurse who was taking an EKG on me for some reason, I forgot why, but she was like, "Why do you want to go back to work? Why are you bothering yourself with this?" I'm like, well, because that's my life. I didn't want to have to, but that was her way of giving me sympathy. Was, oh, poor thing, you should just take it easy.
Yeah.
Like, well,
you should just quit and lay in bed all
right.
the rest
Just
of your
quit
life.
laying in bed all day. I'm like, that's not helpful.
No. Well, here's my favorite one. After my last brain surgery in 2021, I was out. I was back to work. Right, this was a few weeks later, and I was working at a school at the time, and one of the people that was in and out of the school a lot that I knew kind of on a first name basis, but not really much deeper than that. And he saw me, and he knew I was gone, and he knew that I had surgeries before. And he said, he comes back and he goes, "Oh, cool, you're back. So you're good now. So you're good. You don't have to. This is it, right? You're all better now." And I'm like, I don't even know what to say to that. That's not empathy. That's almost like dismissing your condition or whatever. It's almost like condescending. It's like, no. It was maintenance. I didn't have surgery so that the condition would go away. I had surgery so that I would stay alive.
Die. Right. So I would die.
Yeah. So I think that is a misunderstood part of it. Empathy is it's not condescending.
Right. And to me, empathy is simply making others around you feel better.
Yeah.
So however you do that, with a joke or with a hand on the shoulder or a smile or a wave, however you do that connection to another person is empathy.
Totally.
And that's what medical people need to do.
That's what they need to learn, right? That's what some of them. Some of them are great, but some of them need to learn that still.
Right.
So, in regards to your book, When Life Throws You Lemons, Make Cranberry Juice.
Cranberry juice,
what the heck does that mean? You were going to tell us what's
right. Well, as I was going through this, and too, everybody says, it doesn't kill you, will make you stronger. God won't give you anything you can't handle. When life throws you lemons, make lemonade. You got to move positive, smile more, all that stuff, which might be okay to see in certain contexts. You might need to hear it. When people said that to me, I wanted to punch them in the face.
Thank you.
So that's part of why I changed the title of my book. But also what I do is I see lemons as something that any negative thing that's happening to you is a lemon. And everybody has lemons. But what the phrase "when life throws lemons, make lemonade," to me that's saying sweep your lemons under the rug, turn your lemons into something else. And I'm sorry, some lemons can't be turned into something else.
Right.
And lemons cannot be turned into lemonade. You have to add stuff to it. You have to add sugar. You have to add water. So cranberries, as I see, as these sweet little things that are easy to overlook, but that are sweet. And if you accept them, they don't negate the lemons, but they make your lemons easier to deal with later. So I say, instead of sweeping your lemons under the rug, accept your cranberries. Look for and accept your cranberries.
Nice.
Because that's going to help you deal with your lemons. I promise, if you take a break from your lemons, they'll still be there tomorrow. They'll still be there in 10 minutes. I promise you, they're still going to be there. But you're going to be better able, no matter how bad it is, you're better able to deal with it if you're not in the middle of it emotionally. And take a break and accept some cranberries.
That's
true.
And
cranberries can be tiny. You turn on the radio and your favorite song's on. Ooh, that's a cranberry. Anything positive that gives you a glimpse of hope or happiness is a cranberry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, totally. I mean, that's true. I hadn't thought about that analogy either, but lemons are big.
Lemons are big,
Cranberries are little, but they make such a huge impact, right? Like you can be having the worst day in the world, the most lemon saturate up your eyeballs in lemons, right? But you get a couple cranberries sprinkled in there,
But usually if you have your up your eyeballs in lemons, you're not going to even notice the cranberries.
That's, yeah.
Because you're not going to let yourself. Either
Well,
you don't think you deserve them, or you're just so engulfed in what's going on that you're not going to notice them. So I say notice them, look for them, and accept them into your heart.
Pay attention.
And that's gonna help you feel better.
I love it. It's true. It's true. I love it. That's great. It's a wonderful perspective, and I hadn't even thought about that. So
yeah,
see, we're all learning stuff. This is good. That's right. You learn something new every day. Man, thank you. Well, I'll tell you what. We're in another break. We're one more break, and then we're going to come back and in just a couple minutes, and we will.
Okay,
we're going to talk about my favorite subject after we come back. It's hope. We're going to talk about hope.
Hope. I got a good hope story. Good.
That's right. I'm excited to hear it, man. Let's do it. Well, so we will see everybody on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a couple minutes.
Great. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Sarah Stockham, and I'm host of Simply Sarah. Join me Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific on the Achieve TV network for the best energetic tools to elevate your amazing life right here on E360 TV.
Right, welcome back, everybody, and we are in our final segment, and so I want to I like to ask everybody a couple of questions during the show in this segment because the answer is always fascinating, and it's always a little different, but it's always awesome. So so I have two questions. First one, and then I want you to answer, and then we'll get to the second one, but. First question is, after everything that you've gone through, all the crazy, everything that you've done, how do you find hope on the hard days?
I've got some mantras that I live by. One like to do lemon cranberry juice is one of them. Mm-hmm. And you'll see them more at my website. But I put the mantras into an acronym, charge, so focus on what you can change. Or do the best you can with the resources you have. Mm-hmm. Modify your goals, but stay true to yourself, and don't be afraid to do something new and difficult. So truly, I live by those mantras, and on the hard days, I have to really tell myself those mantras again and again and again, and I have to know that this really difficult day or the darkness inside me is going to subside, and I am going to feel better later. And some days I really do have to remind myself of that, do those mantras, submit to yourself, and get out of your head. Go do something else. The hard part is you can't take a break from this too, you can't take a break from your physicalness. So like go on vacation, well, I bring my body with me on vacation. And that's, my brain goes with me. It's not going to help that much. But there's things you can do. You can watch a funny TV show. You can listen to some music, not sad music.
No.
You can talk to an old friend. I mean, there are things you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been going to watch the sunset a lot, and that will. It's almost impossible to be like, sad or feeling sorry for yourself when you're watching the sunset.
Right.
And a lot of that does come feeling sorry for yourself. And I think that also, though, that it's okay to be sad. It's okay to have those bad days. It's okay to say, God, this sucks. And I think that that's part of the problem with people around you. They don't want to hear that. But it's okay to say that. I'm not saying that forever. I'm not going to say that for, the next week. I'm just saying it right now.
Yeah.
This, is really sucky, but it's going to get better. I'll feel better later.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I mean, because no bad day lasts forever, right? You go to sleep, you wake up, it's a new day, right? So
those mantras that really do get me through those dark times.
That's amazing. Actually, that reminded me of something that a previous guest that we had, 2 or 3 months ago, I think, on the show. Her name was Casey, and she was with an organization called Next Step. If anybody hasn't seen that show yet, go back and watch it. Casey was amazing, and the person that she got, oh man, my brain just completely fell out of my head. I can't remember the person that was on the show with her, but he was amazing as well. But she said something that I've always that I'm going to put on the screen here, but I've survived 100% of my hard days so far.
That's good.
It's like, just remind yourself you're still here.
That's true.
Yeah. You're still fogging up a mirror. You still opened your eyes this morning. You have another day,
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty awesome. So all right, I'm going to put your website back up there.
The website, yes.
Yeah, get that back up there. Okay, my other question, my second question, and then I have a couple of things for you. But is there anything that you can count with all this stuff that's happened to you these years and all the difficulties and stuff? What of those challenges can you be thankful for?
What challenges can I be thankful for?
What are you? Yeah, of those challenges that you've had, what are you? What is there something about that you're thankful for?
I mean, I'm thankful that I'm able to, continue to do my job, to be a marine. I mean, I still teach marine biology.
Nice.
So I'm thankful for my work that keeps me going. I'm thankful that I like teaching online and that I like working with computers, because that was where I went back to teaching, was a lot online. Yeah. And, we all found out with COVID that a lot of people just hate teaching online, and all of a sudden they had to. And I was like, oh, I can help you. I already do it, So there's something, and I'm grateful that I have a sense of humor about it. Like when I fall, I've never broken a bone. I've fallen a lot. Oh, and usually when I fall, I end up laughing because there's something funny about the way that I fell. So I'm grateful that I have a sense of humor about this whole thing.
Yeah.
And that people around me tend to have a sense of humor about it. I mean, when I laugh, they laugh too. So
right. Yeah. It's contagious. Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. See, I always love hearing the answers because I know it's going to be good. It's always
something different.
Yeah, exactly. So what is the best way for people to reach you? I mean, you've got your website here, but is that where they would go and they can find easy ways?
Go to the website and there will be places to reach me. My email is just Shari, my first name, at impactofempathy.net. And you can reach out. You can also book a workshop. I do these empathy workshops either for leaders with empathy, for student leaders. If you teach at a college, I can do student leadership. I also do workshops on maintaining positivity through tragedy. Or through, I don't think I use the word tragedy, but through tough times.
Yeah.
Because it's tough to be positive when your world's crumbling around you. But it's important to have some positivity in there, and allow yourself to have some cranberries in there. But through my website, you can definitely go to booking a workshop or learning more about the workshops that I provide.
I love it. Yeah. And you said are you redoing it? You have a new website coming out or something? I remember you mentioning something.
It's in the process of being redone. Hopefully by the time that you guys all see this and this airs, it'll all be done. It's gonna.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. It's beautiful right now. It's just not completely done yet. So we'll get there.
Awesome. Well, good. As long as people just go check it out. I've been there. It's a cool website. It's pretty cool. I can't wait to see what the new one is, because this one's pretty good too. So I mean, you did a good job with this one. So this next one ought to be phenomenal. So
I'm not sure if you saw the old one or the new one, but it's up there. So
whatever I saw was really good. So
it's looking good. It just needs to be, some details need to be fixed, but it's looking good.
It's always a work in progress, right? We're for our nonprofit, we're redoing our website now too, and it's supposed to be out in January sometime, and it's still not quite there yet. So but it's always a work in progress, it feels like. So,
and actually, I do want to put it out there. If you teach at a school that has allied health programs, go to lifetimeofimpact.com, and those presentations are free. Nice. And I can do them anywhere by Zoom. If you live within the San Francisco Bay Area, I'd be happy to come to your class.
Oh, cool. Lifetime, what was it? Lifetime of
Impact.
Lifetimeofimpact.com. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, that's beautiful. And Bay Area, it's a little easier to do it in person when they're close. Yeah. But that's the beauty of Zoom. See, you can do it anywhere.
Right. Zoom, if Zoom works, I can do it on Zoom. But in person it's good too. But I don't travel well, so it's got to be in person. It's got to be local.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, local is good. So, we've got about two more minutes left before we're done. Is there any last minute, lasting message that you want to leave our audience with before we go?
Well, a quick story of hope, because you promised me I could tell my hope story.
Absolutely.
When I was undergoing all this rehab, a lot of it was speech therapy because I couldn't talk at all. So one speech therapist would come into my room, and instead of making me read words on a card, she saw this big poster of whales on my wall. And she would make me say the names of those whales, and then say the scientific names of those whales. And I remembered them all. She had no idea if I was saying them right, but they totally got my speech muscles working. But more than that's what helped give me hope that I'd be back to being a marine biologist someday. So any way that you can connect your patient with the real world outside them being a patient outside the hospital is going to give them hope.
Yeah.
So always make sure you give them hope. And that goes for any kind of leadership. Making connections is what it's all about.
Oh, totally. I mean, hope is one of the most powerful things, and if you can maintain that through difficulty, like what you've been through. I mean, all the things that you.
And it's tough. In my book, one chapter of my book is called Hope and Suicide. I know that's kind of morbid, but I say hope should be a 4-letter word, and it is a 4-letter word because it's so hard to be hopeful. But in that chapter, I go through how I did come to get hope by the end of this. You go through those dark times and hopefully come on the other side. Awesome. And again, we're all still surviving, so we did it.
That's right. We've survived 100% of our hard days so far. Right? That's right. That's right. Awesome. Hey, thank you, Shari. Unfortunately we're out of time. This goes so quick. But we are
Thank you so much.
Here at the end. But I am so thankful that we were able to have you on to tell your story and get this out because people need to hear it. So thank you so much for your time and for your willingness to be part of this.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Man, I love stories like that. It's just as somebody who has been in and out of the hospital a lot my whole life. I mean, not a lot, but it's some people are just more in the hospital than others, and so it kind of holds a special place in my heart with this show because yes, there are definitely not all medical professionals are created equal. I'll just say it that way, as far as empathy goes. So I'm so glad that she is making an impact in that world because it's needed everywhere, but in the medical community, it's definitely needed as well. So thank you. So if anybody is out there and has has been watching, or maybe this is your first time. Thank you for being here. And if it is your first time, look around, search the episodes. There are some amazing people that we've been able to talk to over the last several months while we have been doing this show. And I'm so grateful for all of them. And if you find an episode that you like, or you have one that's your favorite, share it. Share it so other people can. If it's your favorite, it's probably somebody else's favorite too. They just don't know it yet. So get it out there, and I will see you again on the next show, which is on what's the next date? January 26th is going to be the next show, and so everybody just have an amazing day, and we will see you then. Thank you.